right, we're wrapping up a month in Medellin, and what a month it's been. So good. Do I have a little sugar on my face?
Just a little. Arriba, abajo, al centro.
Well, I don't know what I was expecting, but it definitely wasn't this carnival atmosphere that we have going on. So this is a city that's been on our bucket list for a really long time. We knew that whenever we got to South America, Medellin just had to be on the itinerary. Wow, this place is wild.
It's supposed to be a very dynamic city. It's gone through a lot of changes over the years.
And it's supposed to have a lot to offer digital nomads or slow travelers, people who want to come and stay a while.
With our month here coming to an end, we're sharing our usual highlights reel. What we did, where we stayed, how much it all cost.
So I'm going to give this a try. I've been very excited. This is a classic Colombian dish. And we also want to give our totally honest, unfiltered opinion. Was Medellin really everything we expected? Or was it maybe too much city for us? We've got stores, we've got vendors, we've got noise. I mean, there's just so much going on here.
Did we feel safe? Did we feel comfortable? Did we ever make it out of the tourist bubble?
So we're going to talk about all of that and more, but first we wanted to give a big hello to all you adventurers.
If you're new around here, I'm Gillian, this is Stephanie. Now let's go see what we got up to here in Medellin. Medellin is a really big city. It's kind of hard to know where to get started. So we thought, let's start with a walking tour. This is something we like to do when we land in any new city. It's a nice and easy way to get oriented, and we can sort of jumpstart our learning about the history and the culture.
Okay, this tour is off to a very interesting start. So I was just expecting to go to a few key sites, hear a little history, but we've actually just spent the last half hour hearing a very passionate, very insightful history of what Medellin has been through and where it is today. And it's really quite amazing. So I definitely, half an hour in, already recommending this tour. So we're now heading into the downtown core. Our guide has warned us very clearly this is a very crowded, busy area, and we definitely need to keep an eye on our stuff. So that was the Plaza of Lights that we just saw, and it was a very modern part of the city. And I actually found it quite interesting to learn that Medellin doesn't have the colonial buildings that you would expect to see, like you would see in Bogota or Cartagena. Actually, most of the significant buildings are of quite a modern era. Okay, we've officially entered the very crowded area now.
Well, we finally reached one of the most famous sites in Medellin, which is Botero Plaza. Now around me you can see the sculptures from the artist Fernando Botero, and I have to say it's one of my favorite stops in Medellin as well. When we decided to come to Medellin, we knew that we would just have to do a tour of Communa 13. This neighborhood was one of the most dangerous in the world back in the 80s and the 90s, and now we're getting a chance to see what it looks like today.
So we've come to the meeting point for our Communa 13 tour, for our very special, exclusive Communa 13 tour. And just look at the sea of people behind me. We're all going to the same place.
And it looks like we weren't the only ones who just had to have a tour of Communa 13 today.
So one of the guides of our other tours said that Communa 13 has sort of got a bit of a Disneyland feeling these days. And today I see what he means, because there are a lot of lineups, a lot of crowds here.
So we can see the neighborhood that we're heading to just right up ahead. And we heard from our tour guide that actually 2/3 of the population of Medellin live in neighborhoods just like this. Well, we must be getting close because the graffiti has already started.
Oh, gracias. Well, I love any tour that provides a snack. So this is a hot, fresh, kind of donut looking thing covered with sugar. It looks absolutely delicious. So good. Do I have a little sugar on my face?
Just a little.
Well, I don't know what I was expecting, but it definitely wasn't this carnival atmosphere that we have going on. There is a lot happening here. It is very festive. This is just a Thursday, a random Thursday morning, and this place is hopping. So
So the residents here used to have to take a whole lot of stairs to get home, but these days they have an escalator, so life is much more convenient.
So through this tour, we've been getting quite a primer on the history of Communa 13. It's a very violent, very complicated past, and it's just quite something to contrast it with what we're seeing here today. So this is a very lively place, like there's a lot of dancing going on, there's a lot of music. It really seems like it's very different. It's a huge transformation from what it used to be. Wow, this place is wild. So after the breakdancing, we actually decided to peel away from our tour group. It was a very big group, and we were all moving very slowly. I would say that the social transformation story of Communa 13 is very fascinating, and if you're interested in learning about specific parts of it, you actually might consider a private group that could be tailored to your interest. Otherwise, you might just come down here and take a look around. I would say that you should always keep an eye on your stuff, follow common sense safety practices, but otherwise, definitely worth just coming and taking a look to see what's happening here.
Our next activity is kind of a combination of both entertainment and food. As you guys know, Stephanie loves going on food tours wherever we go, but I'm a little harder to convince because they tend to be kind of overpriced. But we did find a very interesting food tour here in Medellin. It covers food, culture, history. It's happening right here in our neighborhood of Laureles. And when Stephanie told me the very reasonable price tag, I said, let's go for it.
Stephanie, Gillian.
I'm Gillian. Gillian, yes.
That's Jasper. Yeah, Huxley. So we're starting things off with a mango piche. This is an unripe mango, and apparently has a little salt on it as well. Oh yeah, it's so sour and salty, but it's really refreshing. Okay, it's a good way to start things off. Kind of a palate cleanser, if you will.
Okay. Arriba, abajo, al centro, para dentro.
Well, this is a very festive way to kick off our food tour. We're having something called aguardiente, which is, it's supposed to have an anise. Yes, I definitely smell the anise. So you have a quick shot of this. Here we go. Oh, smoother than I thought it would be. That's still very strong. And then you chase it with a piece of the sour salted mango. Oh, what a flavor combination. I'm glad I'm trying it. Not like your everyday drink, but good for one time. So it's a guava candy, and apparently this is a great little fruit snack to take if you need a little energy boost when you're hiking. It's very sweet. Wow. It's a delicious fruit snack. I would absolutely take this hiking, but might pick up like a cavity or two along the way. It's really good. Okay, we have an empanada, and this one is with potato and beef, I think. And then we have a buñuelo with cheese inside. Now, I've heard of an empanada before, but I've never heard of a buñuelo. It's a very nice, crispy, fried-looking dough ball. Let's see what's inside. It's got a very mild, sort of delicious baked flavor, but it's fried.
All right, now I'm going to take a crack at this beef and potato empanada. I took a really big bite. My mouth is very full. It's really delicious, but I think what's going to bring it up even to the next level is some of this ají. Okay, it's a spicy ají, but fortunately I love spice. Absolutely delicious empanada.
Well, this has been a very interesting food tour so far. So yeah, we're covering food, so some of the dishes that you can expect to try in Colombia. And we're also learning about the history of the neighborhood and also just the economics of living in Medellin. So it's been really quite fascinating. So we've been presented with, I can only describe it as really a massive tasting platter. We have two different types of arepa. One is with fresh corn and one is with dried corn. And they each have a different kind of white cheese on top. And then we have some chorizo sausage and some lime that goes on top of it. So I'm gonna give this a try. I've been very excited. This is a classic Colombian dish. All right, here we go. Oh, that is incredible. So the cheese is almost sweet. It's really delicious. And then this crispy corn arepa is so yummy. It's arepa chocolo. Wow, it's both sweet and savory.
All right, it's time to check out our Airbnb, starting with our neighborhood. We based ourselves in Laureles, which is supposed to be a nicer middle-class area. Now, it does have a lot of quiet side streets, but we're also close to La Setenta, which is a very busy street at all hours of the day. Laureles is actually a large neighborhood, so if we stayed here again, we'd likely choose the nicer end down by Parque de Laureles.
And this is our building right behind me here. I think there are actually quite a few Airbnb units in this building, but I would say that the rest of the street has a very nice local feeling, and we really enjoy that. I love this keyless entry. I'm always grateful when there's an elevator in the apartment building because that means that I don't have to watch Gillian struggle to carry all our luggage up many flights of stairs. All right, let's take a look. We have been really happy with this Airbnb. It's a nice open concept space. It's been very tastefully decorated, which I always appreciate. And there's a fully equipped kitchen, which makes such a difference when we're staying in a place for a whole month and we know we're gonna be doing a whole lot of cooking. And of course, it was just incredible to have this balcony. We really enjoyed waking up every morning and having this wonderful view of the whole city. There are 2 bedrooms down the back. They are a little on the small side, but certainly enough space for us. And that was a month. So you have seen where we went, what we ate, where we stayed. Now we're gonna add it all up and find out just how much we spent here.
So our entertainment was all about the tours this month. 2 of them were actually free walking tours, but of course we always give the guide a nice tip.
So all of it added up to 85 US, and I actually think that's pretty excellent value. I mean, I don't think I've ever had a food tour for just $20 before.
No, we definitely haven't. Now, for getting around, this is a huge city. We usually needed some kind of transportation anytime we headed outside of our neighborhood.
So basically that meant taking an Uber for just a few dollars, or you can take public transit and it's less than $1.
Although I'm actually the only one who took the metro, somehow Stephanie always managed to grab an Uber.
I don't know, they always just seem to be right there. Okay, so the total, $60 on transportation, and that includes getting a cab from the airport all the way to our neighborhood, and that was just $20, so very good value.
Very good. So next up is dining out, which is always one of our favorite categories.
Okay, so this one came out to $340, and I felt that went pretty far.
Yeah, I mean, we went out for lunch almost every day, and we also had a very fancy dinner over the holidays.
Yeah. That was a very fancy dinner.
was
I
good.
loved it. Okay, so we also did a lot of cooking at home, which added up to $345 in groceries.
So I usually picked up our basic groceries at the Exito, but I also went to a very nice grocery store more than once for some specialty items.
All right, now we're at our Airbnb, and as always, this is the really big ticket item. So we rented this very nice condo here in Laureles for just under $1,300.
And normally this place would actually be more expensive, but we were able to get a much better deal through a little Airbnb negotiation.
Yep, so we are gonna give the grand total in just a moment, but first we did wanna give our take on Medellin.
Yeah. So certainly we noticed that this is a city going through a lot of changes. There is some homelessness. You do need to be mindful of your belongings, especially in crowds.
Yeah, definitely in crowds. So I would say that it's a great place to visit if you're looking for a very urban experience. I mean, you have to really love an urban experience, and you don't mind what is pretty lively street life.
Yeah, it's definitely lively here. And you might have noticed that we did more tours this month than usual. For us, going on tours really helped us to feel a little more comfortable navigating the city.
Yeah, definitely I felt more comfortable when we were out there. So those crowds can really be very overwhelming at times.
Yeah. Now that said, if you're a digital nomad looking to set up a base, Medellin can offer a very affordable lifestyle. If you can find a place to stay at the right price, food and entertainment are very reasonable.
And that actually brings us very nicely to our total spend. Okay, so 1 month in Medellin added up to just over $2,100.
Well, that's pretty good value.
Yeah, actually, I would say that South America continues to be right on par with some of the other low-cost places that we've stayed in Eastern Europe. So it is great value.
Except one line item, and as we said in our last video, we found the cost for Airbnb rentals in Medellin to be way higher than expected.
Yeah, okay, so if you take this place for example, the regular price, if you go on Airbnb right now, is roughly $1,800 US, which we thought was a little on the pricey side. It definitely wasn't what we wanted to spend in Medellin.
No, so if you want the full tour of this apartment,
and if you want the backstory of how we landed such a great deal,
you can go ahead and click on the next video right over here.
Yeah.